Say hello to a new friend on an old road. Take a two-lane trip of memories into mysteries unknown. Come along for the ride. Jim Hinckley's America. Jim Hinckley's America.
Hey, good morning, my friends. Hope everyone's having a great start to the day. Looks like we've got some great spring weather here in western Arizona. I was unable to attend the events yesterday in Amboy. I'm waiting for a report to see how that went. They were shaping up to be quite a big festival out there yesterday. Folks from Kingman, western Arizona, the Colorado River Valley, so all over Southern California, I understand, were in attendance. We'll see if we can get a report on that later, and we'll get it up on the Jim Hinckley's America website. We're waiting. This morning's guest we're going to be talking with is Sarah Elizabeth with Kingman Main Street. Folks, the Main Street organizations are just, I can't say enough about what they do and what they accomplish. We've got examples, and these are generally volunteers, hardworking, dedicated people that they just love where they live. They love their hometowns, and they work tirelessly to help foster development of a sense of community and community purpose. And Sarah Elizabeth and the team here at Kingman Main Street really exemplify that. They have worked on a variety of projects and that have just been transformative. One that I was very privileged to be associated with was the Kingman Tours project, Phase 1 and Phase 2. And you can find that there. The website is kingman.tours. Real easy. And what the idea was behind this is it was a narrated by me, but narrated self-guided tour to historic sites, film and celebrity associated sites, and public art sites in downtown Kingman. And the website is fully interactive, and it was designed to be a physical as well as virtual tour. So that way, if you have internet connection and you're in a state prison somewhere, you can still take a tour of Kingman. So that's always a good thing. But it also has a full gift shop. Take a look with lots of Route 66 Centennial merchandise and other items. That's been a tremendous project because a lot of the things in Kingman, even stuff I've walked by for 60 years, I was surprised at the history behind it. And of course, Kingman also has an incredible array of public art that's pretty extraordinary. We've got statues here created by J. Ann Butler, internationally acclaimed sculptress that works in bronze and porcelain. She's done work commissioned by the Queen of England. We have murals by Bob Waldmeyer. All pretty neat stuff. And you can find that, like say, on Kingman Tours. And that's just one of the projects that Kingman Main Street has been involved with. They work really close with the Colorado River Trail Alliance and have helped develop the trail system here in Kingman. We have a great urban trail system It's probably one of the best in the
A
Southwest.
Google Fi wireless subscriber you have called is not available.
Having a little trouble getting with Sarah Elizabeth this morning. Gosh darn it, I'm sorry about that. But we'll get Sarah here as quick as we can. Kingman Main Street also has a new project that I'm really excited about, and they are working with the Henderson family on the first step on breathing new life into the long shuttered Hotel Beale in downtown Kingman. This is phase one is facade renovation. And they've gotten grants from the Historic Route 66 Association of Arizona and other organizations to hire architects that specialize in historical structures. And they're going to take it back to about a 1920s appearance. This is a long ways from having the old hotel open, but it will, it'll be a step forward. That's for sure. If anybody has any questions about Kingman Main Street while we're waiting for Sarah, just please chime in, speak up for now or forever hold your peace. I'll give you a little bit of history. The Hotel Beale dates to, it was a replacement. We had, like a lot of frontier era communities, we had a lot of fires here in the late 19th century. And the Hubbs House was the second hotel on this site, burned about 1899. And then Mr. Hubbs launched construction of a masonry hotel, the Hotel Beale. And then a huge remodel and addition, a 3-story addition at the rear of the property was added in 1916. And it became Kingman's kind of crown jewel, if you will. A long and lengthy celebrity history associated with this hotel. For us older farts, we might remember Andy Devine. His father, Thomas Devine, owned the hotel for quite some time, beginning shortly after the turn of the century. And then Andy Devine, the character actor, he grew up, spent a lot of time there, shined shoes and did things. And in 1955, the television program This Is Your Life had a special edition. They renamed Front Street, which was Route 66 corridor. They renamed it Andy Devine Avenue. But the celebrity association there goes on and on and on. Harry Carey, the movie star, he filmed a movie at Tap Duncan's ranch out by Hackberry, Arizona. And him and the film crew stayed at the Hotel Beale while filming, Ace of the Saddle. That would have been about 1918. And then we had Buster Keaton and his film crew stayed there in 1925 while filming Go West. Interestingly enough, and I don't know the celebrity connection, but they were filming that at Tap Duncan's Lake Valley Ranch. And Tap Duncan is kind of an interesting character in himself. And he had kept rooms at the Hotel Beale for when he came into town on business. And he was kind of an interesting fellow. He was out of San Saba, Texas. And he had went to Idaho, so the story goes, and done some ranching, tangled with some boys who rode with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He came out on top in that altercation, but decided for longevity reasons to relocate to the Arizona Territory. Became quite a big rancher here in northwestern Arizona, and he was the real deal. But apparently he had quite a celebrity connection. Will Rogers came to Kingman several times and visited with Tap. And of course, then we had Ace of the Saddle with Harry Carey, and Buster Keaton had an association with him as well. Other celebrity association with Hotel Beale during the late 1920s, there was a construction of the TAT Airlines, Transcontinental Air Transport. This was the first successful coast-to-coast passenger air service. And it was kind of innovative. They tied it in with the railroad. So you would fly and then fly during the day, trains at night kind of situation. And you could either, really cut your time cross country by combining flights, or you could overnight in the different places where they had ports or air terminals and then take the plane again the next morning. It still shortened your time cross country. And Kingman was selected for one of those. Construction of Port Kingman. The terminal building is still here. And Charles Lindbergh was a primary developer of that. And Charles Lindbergh was a frequent guest at the Hotel Beale during this period, late 1920s. Upstairs on the wall, framed, is a guest register page from the Hotel Beale, and it is signed by Charles Lindbergh and Anne Morrow Lindbergh. And Amelia Earhart, she was here for the ribbon cutting, and she also stayed there. By the 1930s, the old Hotel Beale, like a lot of the older hotels, the railroad hotels and things, it was starting to fade. They were building motels along Route 66 here in Kingman. We still have some survivors. The 1939 El Trovatore Motel, the 1936 White Rock Court, which was the only property listed in the Green Book for the Negro motorist. And so the Beale kind of started to fade a tad bit, shall we say. And by the mid-1960s, early 1960s, it was the proverbial flop house. And it continued its downward slide. There were several attempts to breathe new life into it, but none amounted to anything. And eventually the hotel closed in the early 1980s. And then the Nighthawk Saloon was the last vestige. That closed about 6 or 7 years later. I do apologize. I am having trouble getting, I hope everything's okay with Sarah. But we will soldier on. Does anyone have something they would like to discuss regarding Kingman Main Street? Just chime in, and I'll try to fill you in where I can. Let me tell you a little bit about this Kingman Tours project. The big thing that I was very impressed with this program is I've been involved with community development programs here in Kingman since about the mid-1990s. We established the Route 66 Association of Kingman, Arizona, Scott Dutt and myself and some others. And this project, the Kingman Tour project, was the first time I have seen so many people who don't get along with each other, who haven't never learned to play well with others. They came together in a common goal to bring this project to life. And I was really, really honored to be a part of this. I did a lot of the historic research, and I also provided the audio narration. We have so many different communities that work on these projects. New Mexico has taken it to another level. Connie Loveland, I mentioned, she's a dynamo over in Tucumcari. And the Main Street organizations over in New Mexico are pooling resources in communities all along the Route 66 corridor, and they have retained the services of NMMS Revitalization Specialist Promotion and Image Development to help develop Main Street projects along Route 66 in New Mexico. I had the privilege of working with Robin from this organization some years ago when I was they were developing new visitors guides and promotional materials for the city of Tucumcari. We've got Margaret with us today from East Lansing, Michigan. Professor Nolan Stoltz, always good to hear from you, my friend. Golly gee, I don't want to just take up your time and beat my gums here, so let's hear from some folks what you think here, and I will continue trying to get Sarah going here this morning. I mentioned also the public art here in Kingman. A lot of people, it's really surprising until the Kingman Tours project, except for a few diehard roadies in the know, people didn't realize we had an authentic Bob Waldmeyer mural here in Kingman, and also a display of his work at TNT Engineering. Interestingly enough, the TNT Engineering is in the 1964 McCarthy Motor Company building. The wall that was used for the Bob Waldmeyer mural, that building is now a machine shop, but for many, many years it was the tavern. And there's a Route 66 cinematic connection. That is where the interiors bar scenes were filmed for the 1984 movie Roadhouse 66 with Judge Reinhold and William Dafoe was in on that project. The other things that we mentioned in public art, like say J.Ann Butler, her work is just extraordinary, and a sculpture she created is down at the Depot Plaza. And there's been an attempt by Kingman Main Street to revitalize or bring back to life, I should say, the Route 66 Walk of Fame project was being revitalized as a fundraising initiative for Main Street. And it is down at the Depot Plaza. That project was initially introduced at the International Route 66 Festival in 2014. For reasons unknown, after about a year, even though it was kind of abandoned, even though it had great publicity. But the Hotel Beale in the 60s and 70s, Professor Stoltz, it was your basic kind of a flop house. Rooms were pretty cheap. In the late 70s, I kept kind of a room there. When I'd come in off the ranch, I would stay at the Hotel Beale. It was convenient. It was downtown. It wasn't anything fancy. It was pretty war at the heel, but it was a cheap place to stay. It was in the walking distance, the restaurants. I could get my truck serviced down the street. Anything I needed to do while I was in town, rounding up supplies. The Nighthawk Saloon was always kind of interesting. The whole block between 3rd and 4th Street is really the historic heart of Kingman, and the Renaissance downtown Kingman is transformed the historic district. But until recently, most of that was on Beale Street, not Andy Devine Avenue. And if we can get this off the ground with the Hotel Beale facade renovation project, that'll be it'll be like adding jet fuel to this Renaissance. The interior of the Hotel Beale, and I have photos on the Jim Hinckley's America website. If you go there and go to the blog page and search for Hotel Beale, you'll find several entries. It was that whole block is just incredible history. You have the Hotel Beale, then there was a complex of storefronts. Then next to that is the Sportsman Saloon, which is a 1906 territorial era saloon. That is really a great time capsule. And next to that is the 1907 Brunswick Hotel. And that's been given a new lease on life by a Swiss developer. I'm not sure what he's going to do with the overall property, but he's expanded Garibaldi's restaurant into the old restaurant section, and an art gallery is in the old lobby section. And then next to that, we have the circa 1914 Old Trails Garage. And I mentioned the Renaissance is sweeping down the street. And if you want a business opportunity, someplace where it's a little warmer, down on the corner of Second and Andy Devine, there is a renovated 1946 gas station. It's all perfectly set up for a shop. And it's going for $1,000 a month, and that includes utilities. And Tim and Lenore, that have restored the building, they've pretty much taken over the entire block. They've taken a long, dormant, abandoned 1930s diner, turned it into Scoops on 66. They took an old roadhouse that had been abandoned for years, Denny Moore's Tavern. That has become Mud on 66, a great gourmet coffee shop. And then they also cleaned out some of the other condemned properties and things in between, brought in some vintage Airstream trailers and have gutted them, transformed them into great Airbnb rentals. Tin Can Alley, that should be open pretty soon. The Hunting Horns you just heard was Sarah. She's having a few issues, running a little bit late. Be with us in a few minutes. Sarah has an infectious personality. She'll fire things up pretty good for us here, I'm sure. The Hotel Beale in the 60s and 70s, that whole block was kind of tired. Downtown Kingman was still vibrant and it was busy, but the Beale was a tarnished relic, to say the very least. I am very pleased. I mentioned that I had taken extensive photos of the inside. The historic integrity of the property is really surprising. Postcards and photographs from the 1920s show that the lobby is almost completely unchanged. And when I stayed there, many of the rooms were unchanged from the 1920s and 1930s as well. But that's a story for another day. The entire block there is quite interesting. The Sportsman Saloon from 1906, that's a point of interest on the Kingman Tours walking tour. And that is quite a history. If you happen to be there and you look towards the top, you'll see it says Lovin Building. That was built after one of our disastrous fires along Front Street by Henry Lovin. Quite an interesting frontier era character. I believe he was from North Carolina originally. Was a pioneering rancher, miner. He grub-staked a lot of prospectors. And one of the fellows he grub-staked was Jose Jerez, a former Mexican captain. It was prospecting the Black Mountains. And he made the strike, the gold discovery in the Black Mountains that fueled the development of Oatman and Gold Road, the last major gold rush in the state of Arizona. Henry Lovin was also a Mojave County sheriff, and he was appointed by the President of the United States to the state constitutional committee, and he helped draft the Arizona state constitution when we became a state in 1912. And then we had, he went on to become our first Mojave County state legislator. So quite a history. And they're doing some work on the old Sportsman, but generally that is a frontier era time capsule. The bar and most everything inside is just as it was back in 1906, 1907 era. The Hotel Brunswick, that has quite a little history. See, July 16th, 1915, Edsel Ford and his college buddies, they were traveling the National Old Trails Road, predecessor to Route 66. They were guests there at the hotel. And Clark Gable and Carol Lombard, March 1939, They married here in Kingman for reasons unknown, and there was an impromptu wedding reception at the Brunswick Hotel. Good morning, Mr. Denny Gibson. Speaking of road trips, how are you this morning, sir? The other things we got coming up next week, we're going to be talking with Ryan Thibeault, and he'll be from Tebo Barns in New Hampshire. Hey, good morning, Miss Sarah. How are you?
Good morning, Jim. How are you?
You know me, I'd have to be dead a week for it to get better than this.
Oh, yes. How's it going? How's the show?
Hey, we're doing fine. I am glad you could join us. Thank you for taking some time from your Sunday morning. I know you've got a family and you're usually busier than a one-legged man in a behind kicking contest. So I
Oh,
really
no,
appreciate you.
that's you.
I appreciate you taking time to do this morning.
Oh, no problem, Jim. I love visiting with you.
We were just talking about the Hotel Beale and Kingman Tours and the fine folks that pour so much of their time into Main Street, with the idea being building a sense of community. And we are
Yeah.
most appreciative. Uh, the Hotel Beale project, that's probably one of the most exciting things I've seen happen here in quite some time.
Oh my gosh, we are so excited. And I think we should get the plans from the historical architect, Bill Otwell, and the architecture firm that he's working with, Michael Taylor Architects, and Johnny Stewart is who we're working with there. I think that we should get those plans really any day. And then
Is
we
that,
can start going out for some grants and bids. And so we're just doing the facade, and the whole idea, we're hoping that this will kind of be an inspiration and maybe get the ball rolling for more. But the idea for this is to do, like a historical interactive museum style stop on our historic walking tour with you, Jim Hinckley.
yes, ma'am.
Um, to have the whole front of the building restored. Do you know what year that photograph is that they're going off of, or around what year it is?
Is that color photograph that has the kind of cloth awnings over the windows?
And the Model Ts are in it.
Yeah, that is somewhere. My guess is between 1918 and 1925, somewhere in those years.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And Bill Otwell, he's gotten so many awards. He's so amazing. And we're so lucky that he's working with us. He's come out of retirement to work with us. But he is so impressed with how, kind of intact the building really is, like the structure of the building. So he says in a lot of these types of projects, they have to kind of make it look, find things to make it look like that time period. But in this case, we're going to be able to restore it very much like that, exactly like that photograph, so it's really exciting.
Well, it is it's very intact. All they did was basically hung a sheet over the front of it years ago. I mean, it's the original
Mhm.
materials behind it. Anything that's done to that property, Sarah, the historic district revitalization and renaissance that you've been such a big part of is really been picking up steam, and this project it'll be like pouring jet fuel to that
Oh
renovation. It's going
gosh,
to be
I know.
transformative.
Yeah, and I'm really excited that our, Route 66 is where really everyone has their sights, because Beale Street is absolutely beautiful and amazing. And I'm so grateful that we did that streetscape project. I mean, for all of the businesses downtown, I'm one of them. I can't tell you how much business has picked up for us. And it is just, I'm so grateful. And
Well,
now I see people really moving their sites to Route 66, and that's what, our claim to fame. And that's that community road that connects all of our small communities. So it's really, really exciting to see everything happening.
the way we're moving, my gosh, the way things are picking up steam here, especially in the historic district, Kingman is moving into the 21st century with speed. Uh,
Oh, good. We want
eh,
that.
uh, it This is exciting. Of course, your shop west of Third down there, it really exemplifies the spirit of Kingman, if you will, what the new Kingman
Oh,
is, and it really that's your infectious enthusiasm is manifested in that shop with you and your partners, and it really
oh,
shows what's being done downtown Kingman.
yeah. Thank you so much. Well, I look at a lot of shop owners downtown, and there's just really an energy of this this revitalization, really. People are really excited and trying to, and it's all small businesses, and one thing that I love is none of them are exactly the same. They're all so different. And so it's great. And I see a lot more people kind of moving into that co op model, which we have, because I
Yes.
think it's just more sustainable. So there's multiple owners in a lot of the shops downtown just working together, inside the same shop, and it's a lot of just small local businesses. So it's really cool.
My vision for a long time, it would be great to see the Hotel Beale as a hotel, but I don't think that would be sustainable. But,
Hmm.
mention the changes of co-op businesses and going back to independent business ownership. And something that's lacking downtown, and I bet would be interesting, is if the downstairs of the Hotel Beale could be shops and restaurants, but if the hotel itself was converted to nice upscale apartments. I
Oh, yeah. Oh, that'd be great.
Because a lot of people we have such a compact downtown, basically 6
Mhm.
blocks in both directions on Beale and Andy Devine. It's perfect for that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, I would love to see something like that. And when you read about successful downtowns, you hear about these downtowns that are mixed use. You've got the shops and the buildings and the homes and the services. And I think it's great because you have people that live and eat and hang out and enjoy downtown and spend their money downtown. And just really, I love that idea.
Yeah, it's coming. Kingman is fast becoming recognized as more than a stop on the way to. And the beautiful thing when you have an historic district like this, and then if you can start hosting your events downtown, it's more than just putting heads in beds with tourists. It's literally like a real
Mhm.
estate open house. You're showcasing your community to people who might want to live here, who might want to raise a family here, might want to open a business here or retire here.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the downtown district is really showing what we have. And it's a manifestation of the sense of community and community purpose that you and Main Street volunteers have been so instrumental in creating.
Oh, yeah. I love that. That is so, I think you're really right. I think you're really right about that. Do you think we should share a little, or maybe this could be a little affirmation or a challenge that we're putting out there about our Hotel Beale project? Just make it
Sure,
public.
you bet.
Okay. So, wouldn't it be great to see this facade completed by the centennial and to light that historic neon Hotel Beale sign?
Well, yes, it would. That's going to be a tight schedule. But
Yeah.
if we're going to dream and dream big, here's two thoughts. I don't think we could accomplish that by New Year's Day 2026. But if we could get that done by New Year's Day 2027, think about what a great celebration we could have as a kickoff for the second century of Route 66.
Oh,
Count down to the bicentennial.
mm, okay. Yeah, I like that.
That would be fantastic. Uh, yeah, it's going to take a little bit of roof work too, but gosh, that facade at Neon. Does Main Street have a fundraising mechanism yet for donations, or are you to that stage yet?
So we will be very shortly. We have a meeting with our website person this coming week, I think. And so then we can kick that off.
Good, very good.
We're kind of waiting on those plans just to see. I mean, we're not waiting. We're moving forward with that. We've got an appointment and everything. But then we're going to be partnering with you, right?
Yeah, I'm going to help. You bet. I will. Working with Steve down at Talisman Magic Marketing. And of course, we're going to push this through the Kingman Tours project. And
Yeah, I think
anything
that'd
we
be
can do to
great.
help.
Yeah, I think that'll be awesome. And then I think we're going to do a lot of ground funding, crowdfunding, of course. It's a community project. And then we're working with Bill Schilling. He's going to be helping us. He retired from the city. He's a grant writer, so he's a volunteer on our team now. So we're going
Oh
to be going
my!
out for grants. And so we have some really exciting ideas for fundraisers. And Kingman Main Street loves to throw parties, so we're going to have some parties in there. But I think, yeah, that Kingman Tours site in partnership with you guys would be a wonderful way that people can help to fundraise with us on this project. And we're trying to think of some really creative gifts that we can give people. And we're not sure exactly what it would look like, but we have a local artist that takes pieces of the building and makes, like keychains, or he made ornaments from scrap wood that he got from the historic theater. So we're trying to look at some ways that people can give, but also get a little piece of this relic.
Well,
So,
if you could find a way to give exclusive one-on-one little guided tours, if you will, through the Beale for a fee,
yeah.
I think that would be there's tremendous interest in seeing that. And as far as souvenir that people might you could include, perhaps get their picture upstairs on the mezzanine with the signed guest register page from with Charles Lindbergh's signature.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's amazing, Jim. I'd love to. Let's see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, yeah. My problem was my imagination runs rampant, and I have to rein it. I have to keep a tight rein on it. It'll run away with me.
I don't think you should do that because, like reach for the moon and land, or reach for the stars and land on the moon, right?
I've got a project, and I will be sharing this with you. But I've been in discussions with Robin Bobin that I've worked with when I was in Tucumcari, helping develop their tourism and Route 66 Centennial projects and visitors guides. And she has a marketing company, and she is now working with the Main Street districts along Route 66 in New Mexico to help create a co-op, if you will, of Main Street organizations in the Route 66 communities along in New Mexico to help them develop their centennial projects. And I bet you we could put something like that together here in Arizona.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I think that would be so great. Now, right now, my wheels are spinning. I'm thinking of, okay, let's look at all the towns on 66 and see if they have Main Street organizations. I love that idea.
I think it's something that could be done pretty. If it's it's available, it would Holbrook, Winslow, Flagstaff, Williams. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, I love that idea.
So I hate to ask this because I know you, but aside from the Hotel Beale and west of Third and raising a family, what else has Sarah got going this year?
I have just personally, I have started for a couple years now. I've started um, doing a little bit of pottery. So I've started doing some little pottery workshops downtown. I had my first workshop, so
Oh,
that's been
excellent.
keeping me busy. Um, I think just I've kind of stepped back a little, and I'm focusing most of my volunteerism uh, towards this Hotel Beale project in Main Street. I used to do a lot of the First Friday stuff. And I mean, we're going to go all out personally as a business. And if anybody listening hasn't been to our First Fridays downtown, they are so much fun.
You're
But
attracting
yeah, just,
like First Friday. Is that true that you've been attracting close to 10,000 people downtown?
oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
I
That is
know.
astounding.
It's amazing. It is so amazing. And it tells us that, the community and people near us and passing through are just looking for something like this, that late shops staying open late and the streets being closed, and it just has this great festival atmosphere, and there's vendors on the street, and it's really it's a cool time to be downtown. But saying that, every time I drive downtown, it is bustling like that. I just love it, especially since the weather is getting beautiful. Have you
Yes.
noticed that? Just like how alive it feels downtown?
Oh gosh, yes. There's a vibrancy and an infectious enthusiasm downtown, and projects like Tim. I was talking earlier with Tim and Lenore Webb, bringing that whole block together. Tin
Yeah.
Can
Oh,
Alley being open soon. Scoops on 66 and Mud on 66. Uh, and I mentioned the business opportunity of that gas station on the corner, that 1946 service station that they renovated. They're renting if somebody's looking for a
oh,
business opportunity.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I need to think about that because that is such a cool space. Oh, and it's
Uh,
right there by the powerhouse, and it's a great location. It is really, I mean, that is a prime spot downtown, if I could think of any.
I've been also. I had a great conversation with Shelby Scott Dutton's daughter, and
Oh,
they're hoping to raise some funds.
yes.
They've got they want it to be the biggest mural on Route 66 on the wall at the Dutton Motors Body Shop on Beale Street, and they've been in discussions. They've got the artwork done from Ray Harvey, the acclaimed mural artist that did the murals at Tin Can Alley and the Old Trails Garage, and they've got a massive mural they want to put up down there.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. I grew up with Shelby, and so that is so good to hear. That is so neat.
Yeah.
Um, I'm excited to have a Ray Harvey on Beale Street.
Well, we're hoping. Have you talked to Shelby yet on this?
I
Yeah,
haven't talked to her yet. She
I
was actually best friends with my sister, so I need to have her reach out because I'd love to hear more about it.
I will put you two in contact because she is going to need some help, some fundraising help, some promotion help, some help with navigating city codes, things of that nature. So
Do you know? Do you know Jennifer Tremaglino at the Canada Mart?
I know the name. I probably have met her several times.
Okay, so she is such a great resource in our community. She was living in Vegas for a while and doing marketing and promotion for Vegas. And she moved to Kingman. She said, "This is where I'm from. I want to be a part of this community." And so she has been voluntarily going to different shops and interviewing them and doing beautiful video. But if you check out the Canada Mart, man, their promotion has gotten so cool. But she wants to help with, I think she's going to be working with First Friday now, and she's just really professional, and we're so lucky to have her back in Kingman. But she's been talking with Shauna too, so I think that maybe they can, um, or Shelby. You know
Yes.
what? Shauna is the one that my sister grew up with. I'm sorry.
Okay. Uh, Canada Mart, that's kind of an interesting place. A lot of people know it there. Murals just on the curve of 66 before you're going out of town. I had a lot of fun with that for the Kingman Walking Tour project. We still, I'm amazed, but I still have yet to figure out exactly when that property was all built. I've even tracked down Charlie McCarthy's daughter. Charlie McCarthy was Kingman's second mayor and was involved with a lot of businesses, and he was kind of primary for building that. And we've not been able to pin down the exact dates. But if that property's got quite a fascinating history.
Isn't it great? Yeah, and they're always thinking of what can we do to create more draw, whether it's like art installations or whatever. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm just really excited every time I come back to Kingman. I'm excited by what's being accomplished here. It's really quite astounding. It's
Me too. Yeah, it's so great, Jim. And thank you for all that you're doing. It's really great. And thank you for partnering with us too on this Hotel Beale project. I'm so excited.
it's a team effort. All of this is. It's not. It's never been a Jim show or anything else. It's a team effort. We it doesn't work unless we build a network of cooperative partnerships. And I was speaking earlier. One of the biggest things that I was impressed with the Kingman Tours project, of everything I've been involved with, that was the first time I saw the community really come together behind something. And that's
Yeah.
that right there is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, we really built a lot of bridges, didn't we?
Yes.
It was really great.
Do you have any idea on the status of the old territorial jail? I should probably talk to Leah Stagg down at Mojave Museum of History and Arts, but I was just curious if you had any idea how
Oh,
that project's moving forward.
I'm not sure, but I know Leah is doing so many great things. She really, I've just been hearing so many good things about her at the museum.
Yes.
So yeah, she'd be the one to talk to. Donna Peterson is on our board and she is just crazy about historic preservation. And she just got on the city's preservation commission with Leah. Leah's
Hmm.
on there as well. So it's exciting to have some people on there and they're having meetings again. And so she'll be giving us some updates on different projects like that because she's definitely following
In the Beale Street Theater, the old State Theater downtown, that should be open, well, in time for the centennial as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Isn't that going to be just amazing for our community? I just think about people dressing up and going to a show and afterwards getting dinner and it's just looking so beautiful, isn't it?
I just I didn't know where to start, so I sent him to Sarah Peterson. But I had a discussion with Toshi Goto of the Japanese Route 66 Association. And next year, and I won't try to pronounce his name. I met him. He performed at the Wine Cellar some years ago. But he's a Japanese recording artist, folk singer. And he's doing a Route 66 Centennial concert tour next year.
Oh my
And
God.
he's going to have, they're doing a documentary. He's going to have a film crew traveling with him. And he would like to perform in Kingman. Uh, and I put him in contact with Sarah because, I think the theater downtown would be just what a perfect place. A performing arts center would be
Oh my
perfect for
gosh.
that.
Yes. So I think Christina Mickelson is the director of that
Yes,
whole project. Um, I can share her information with you at another time, but
yes.
she has said that they have been getting so many calls to come through and play in Kingman. And so I think we're going to have so much more professional music acts and shows, and they're kind of looking at film and I it's going to be such a great opportunity for us.
For people who are listening that's trying to revitalize their communities, work on their communities, It can be frustrating. I mean, it is. And Sarah, I know you know this. Sometimes it's like you're doing an endless pinata impersonation, but it works. It can be done. And
Yeah.
the first thing to do is you've got to think different. Me personally, I liked Kingman downtown better 50 years ago, but it doesn't matter what I like. Things
Yeah.
change. It's not bad. The change isn't bad. It's different. In some ways, it's much better than it used to be. But for me personally, like say, I like the old State Theater and Jan's Soda
Mhm.
Fountain and all these things, but it
Oh, yeah.
evolves, things change. And what we've got going here now is an example. We see this with other Main Street organizations, like in Tucumcari. Connie Loveland is just like you. She's an absolute dynamo over there, and working with people like David Brenner at the Roadrunner Lodge. It's been transformative, and you can see this in communities that people like yourself, your mother, Paul, the Main Street organization. When you have passionate people with vision and dedication and a love of community, Kingman's become an example. You can transform a place.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that you're talking about this all the time where it's really marrying the past and the future. I
Yeah,
think as long as there are some groups that are protecting the historic buildings, that and you can have the new come in. You want sidewalks that are more accessible. You want the
yes,
lighting that's going to be better so you can still see those night stars. But you have to have some people really advocating and protecting those historic treasures that we have, because you
yeah,
can go to communities where they don't have these historic downtowns and they try to make a downtown and it doesn't have the same energy, it doesn't have the same feel.
no, no.
And so I think that those things together is really what makes a downtown special.
Well, that's one of the things, and I got to thinking about this a lot when we were developing the Kingman Tours. The downtown, basically the historic heart of Kingman, if you will, is about, like, say, a 5-6 block corridor on Beale Street and then on Andy Devine and then up 4th Street. And it's the diversity. You've got where the art hub is, that's a 1912 bank. And then you have the
Mhm.
1916 Central Commercial. And across the street, what is now the Beale Event Center, that's a 1952 Pennies. And at the end of the
Yeah.
street, you have this beautiful 1915 courthouse. You have this blending of all these different architectural styles and periods of history
Mhm.
represented. And I think that gives Kingman downtown a unique feel.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes. Because like your shop is probably what, 1930s? Somewhere in there?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most fascinating. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I'm excited to help promote the fundraiser. I encourage people to check out the Kingman Tours website. There's a lot for brick purchases, which will help fund the Main Street projects. It's down at Depot Plaza. And then, of course, there's a gift shops. I guess it's been set up on there as well. Yeah, this is really an exciting time. And unless we succeed in burning the country down or have another apocalypse,
Mhm.
2026 could be huge. Here it is, the 250th anniversary of the United States. And what better place to celebrate that than on the main street of America, Route 66?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The lighting of the neon sign, boy, that's gonna be a that would be a big project at the Hotel Beale. That would be a
Yeah.
milestone, but that'd be a major undertaking.
Yeah, absolutely. So Matt, what's Matt's last name from Legacy Signs?
Matt Phillips.
Matt Phillips. Yeah, I you shared his information and I reached out to him, and so we've got to get him back up there to give us an idea of, really what's going to need to happen and a number there.
Yeah.
Um, but and doing the facade, I guess, the sign can be considered a part of the facade, but that was
Sure.
kind of a little add-on because we like to go big and imagine kind of the unveiling party and lighting that sign. Oh my gosh. It would
I
just be
should,
so
you
epic.
might, for some people might be aware of this, but if you look at the Meadow Gold sign in Tulsa, it's very similar to in size and scope to the
Mm.
Hotel Beale sign, and how that really the restoration of that sign was a major catalyst for the revitalization of the Route 66 corridor in Tulsa.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'll have
quite
to look that
exciting.
up.
One more thing I want to thank you too for your work with the Colorado River Trail Association on development of our urban trail system. That is
Oh,
another gem that we have here, and we owe that to you, the volunteers of Main Street, uh, and Colorado River Trail Alliance, City of Kingman. That
yeah.
is a tremendous asset.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Jim. We really can't take very much credit in that. That is really all the Colorado River Area Trail Association, and those wonderful guys there, Josh and Katz and Ed from Spokesman. They have been working on our trails voluntarily for a very long time, building them, getting out there with hand tools, building our amazing trail system. And I'm just so grateful for Mike Mearsman at the City of Kingman because he really has opened up and brought them into the fold where there's really this like public private partnership and they're together building all of our beautiful trails. And I'm on the Parks Commission and we just were reflecting on that the other day, I was letting them know how grateful I am that the city is partnering with this wonderful nonprofit that is just kicking butt and helping so much voluntarily on all of our trails. So, and now we can pop right on our trails downtown. And that is
Oh,
just the
gosh.
coolest thing.
I want to encourage anybody
Also,
traveling Route 66, even if you're not into hiking or mountain biking, one of the great surprises that we need to be talking more about.
mm-hmm.
At the end of 4th Street, you go up 4th Street, it looks like it dead ends at the courthouse. It doesn't. Drive around the block, continue up 4th Street to the parking lot, the trailhead. If nothing else, I can guarantee you a one-eyed blind man will not get a bad photograph up there. It is an absolute stunning area for getting a good view of Kingman and our buttes and mesas. The city did a marvelous job with that.
Oh my gosh, it's absolutely beautiful. And our parks department, I want to tell you, is just absolutely amazing. They are so resourceful. They took the busted up sidewalks from downtown and built that Castle Rock like wall that's up there. That's our sidewalk from downtown. I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. They're hand building all of the signs, the sign posts and everything, and the benches. It's just beautiful.
Sarah, I really appreciate everything you guys are doing, but most of all, I know Sunday mornings this is a bit early, and I am really appreciative of you taking time today to share this. And the whole idea behind this program is to share America's story and to tell people where to go and to provide a little bit of inspiration. And you do that very well. You're always an inspirational person. Your enthusiasm always shines through. So I want to thank you for doing this morning.
Oh, thank you so much, Jim. It takes one to know one. So I
Uh,
appreciate you.
Thank you, Miss Sarah. I think you guys are going to really like what I got next week for you. How many people uh, are curious about time travel? Well, I happen to have found a fellow that, basically has made time travel possible. Uh, Ryan is a fascinating young man who has been obsessed with Model A and Model T Fords most of his life. He's only in his, early to mid 40s. And he literally took his driving test in a 1929 Ford. He recently, during the COVID pandemic, he lives in New Hampshire, I might add, or Vermont, and he made an 8,000-mile trip in 21 days in a 1930 Ford, traveling Route 66 up the coast to Mount Rushmore. And now he's taken the leap of faith and quit his day job as an engineer and has a company called Tebo Barn, where he restores and repairs components in cars, specifically Model A's and Model T's. And we've had quite a discussion. He's wanting to organize the ultimate car cruise parade next year for the centennial for Model A and Model T Fords. And we're going to see if we can make that possible. And we'll be talking to him next week. And if you're out on the road, we got to give a shout out to some of our good friends. Of course, they're in the city of Tucumcari. They have been such good supporters of everything we do here at Jim Hinckley's America. And David Brenner there at the Roadrunner Lodge. He has done, speaking of transforming properties, this was a condemned derelict property that he has turned into an award-winning motel, and he has attention to detail that's made it a 1960s time capsule. If you stay there, ask about the tiki rooms. Sarah, we did have Jenga on here about 2 months ago, talking about downtown community projects, cleanup projects. Another shout out I want to give, speaking of people with passion that transform communities, Angela Moreland. It's been a great pleasure to have her support and the folks there in McLean, Texas. Angela has taken on the mid-1950s Cactus Inn Motel. And if that wasn't a big enough project, then she went downtown and created Cactus Rose Tap Room downtown. And she has, like Sarah and the Main Street group here, has been just working tirelessly to transform McLean, Texas. And another one I need to shout out to is our good friends there in Albuquerque. Vicky Ashcraft is a tremendous sponsor of our programs. The Enchanted Trails, Trading Post and RV Park. This is a really kind of a neat little story there. This is a 1940s trading post at the top of 9 Mile Hill on Route 66, just west of Albuquerque. And when they realigned the highway, the owner of the trading post his business was decimated. So he literally picked up the trading post and moved it onto the other side of the highway. Vicky has been the president of the Route 66 Association of New Mexico. She has created a full award-winning full-service RV park, tied it in with the trading post. She's got a great display of vintage travel trailers and Hudson automobiles, and a massive hubcap Christmas tree that you got to see to believe. So I'm really honored to have her as a sponsor of the program. And then we've got a shout out to Miss Connie Eccles. She's been doing amazing things there in Cuba, Missouri for quite some time. I've been very privileged to work with Cuba, Missouri tourism and be associated with Cuba for quite a long time. But the Wagon Wheel Motel is one of the oldest continuously operated motels on Route 66. And I really don't know if a Route 66 trip can be considered complete without a stay at the Wagon Wheel Motel, a visit with Connie. And as a bonus, she has a well-stocked gift shop with autographed books by Jim Hinckley. Imagine that. And, I've got a couple others we're working with. Two-Lane America, Austin Coop, tremendous fellow. We're going to be seeing a lot of him in Kingman this year with his Route 66 tours and Southwest tours. And Route Trip USA, I am a I serve as a consultant, helping those folks put together bespoke road trip adventures in the United States and Canada. And they're a real treat. Stephen Disbrow, the owner, and his wife, they will be here in Kingman for another meeting pretty soon. I'm eager to show them around a little bit, what we've got going. What else do I have on the list? I have working out the details, but I have been asked to speak again this year at the AAA Route 66 Road Fest in Tulsa, the end of June. And this is going to be an honor because they have I'll be sharing the stage with some incredible speakers, such as Michael Wallace, the award winning author who is also the voice of the sheriff in the animated movie Cars. And I'm always looking forward to getting back to Tulsa. Tulsa has become the poster child of how to sell everything on the hog, including the squeal. They have just tapped into Route 66 with a passion, and they are really transforming the highway corridor. Those are some of our great sponsors and associates. I get a lot of questions about being available here in Kingman. I do get down to mud on 66 kind of when I'm in town often, and so you can catch me down that way. Signed copies of my books are available here in Kingman at Calico's Restaurant and the Powerhouse Visitor Center. And morning walkabouts, I'm glad you enjoy that. I enjoy them as well. I enjoy sharing that. And I really encourage folks that are in the area to check out our great urban trail system. Miss Sarah, thank you again for this morning and thank you for everything you do. And we'll do this again next week. We'll get some more road trip inspiration and community development ideas. And we'll be talking with Ryan about time travel. Can you imagine 8,000 miles in 3 weeks in a 1930 Ford? That's about as close to time travel as you're going to get. I'll tell you what. And if anybody, I've got to share this one with you too, and then I'll let everybody run. I probably should. I probably should have my head examined on this, but I need this like a frog needs tap dancing shoes. But I've got this idea in my head. I need a Model A Ford for the Centennial. I need to drive Route 66 in a Model A Ford truck. That's something we can discuss in a future program, perhaps next week. My friends, thank you. Miss Sarah, as always, thank you so very, very much. And my friends, we'll bid adios with a little bit of music from Joe and Woody and my friends there with the road crew out of Nashville, Road Crew 66. And we'll see you soon, my friends. Vaya con Dios.
Say hello to a new friend on an old road. Take a 2-lane trip of memories into mysteries unknown. Come along for the ride. Jim Hinckley's America. Jim Hinckley's America.